new chisels, and they often come with a rough factory grind. So what do we do about them? Well, in this video I'm going to show you the new sharpening system from Empower Tools. Sorter Shop were kind enough to gift me this and create a video demonstrating its use. So let's do just that. I'm going to be using my Veritas honing guide, which I bought with my own money. I'll give it a brief overview, but the main focus will be on the sharpening system. So here I'm just attaching the depth and angle gauge. I set it to approximately the width of the chisel I'll be sharpening, and there's markings on the honing guide itself that allows me to see the approximate width and the angle at which I want to set the blade. So now I'll just loosen the knurled knobs that allow the chisel to slip into the vise and clamp into place. So there we have it, all ready to go. Now just removing the gauge. And let's have a look at the sharpening system. It comes in a strong nylon bag. It has a main pocket for the stones and then a smaller pocket for the accessories such as the lapping fluid, the 3 waxes that are used to lubricate the strops, and finally a rubber to clean the stones when you're done. The stones come in 300, 600 and 1200 grit, and the honing leather comes in 1800, 2500 and 5000 grit. Okay, I've just given a couple of squirts of the lapping fluid, and now it's time to run the first pass on the 300 grit stone. I want to add, so using the Veritas hone is such a big difference. I used to have a budget Eclipse hone before, and it just used to send my chisel everywhere and it was very inaccurate. It was a cheap hone, but in comparison to this Veritas, I couldn't be happier. It's such a good hone. Okay, so back to using the sharpening system. So far so good. It's doing everything it's supposed to. And the initial grind looks good. What do you guys think? Okay, so I'm just going to put the lapping fluid on the next stone up, which is 600 grit. Once again, the results speak for themselves. Okay, time for the next stone, which is the 1200 grit. A bit of lapping fluid and away we go. Let's get a closer look at this grind. I mean, I really can't fault it. It's doing everything it's meant to. Okay, so I'm loosening the hone and removing the chisel so I can do the underside, the flat surface along the stones. Once again, we repeat the step-up process from stone to stone. I'll take the opportunity to mention each stone has the grit number laser etched on the top, and the stropping leather have the stickers on the side which represents which wax to use on which honing leather lid. Also to add, when you purchase this sharpening system, registering it with the manufacturer's website gives you a 10-year guarantee, which is pretty awesome, I think. Okay, so that's the underside done. Now I'm using just a bit of kitchen towel to remove the excess lapping fluid. Then I'll use the rubber to just clean up the stones. It's pretty easy and it's an effortless process. Okay, so now it's time to use the honing leather. It's all very well marked. They have a combination of colour codes and labels marking what grit is what. I remove the appropriate waxes and start applying them to the specific honing leathers. The first wax is orange and it goes on the 1800 grit honing leather. As the chisel is now in a pretty sharp state, I'm just going to be moving them in one direction, obviously towards myself, so that the edge of the chisel doesn't scuff the leather. And I'll be doing this by hand, having removed the honing guide. Once again, it's a pretty effortless process. So just using some kitchen towel to wipe away any excess residual wax. Now it's time for the 2500 grit honing leather. This has a white wax. I think I put an excessive amount of wax on the leather, and I don't think that much is needed, so in future I'll be using less. Okay, so time for the final honing leather. This requires the blue wax. It's 5000 grit, I believe. Okay, so that's all done. Just going to clean off the residual wax, and I guess now it's time to take it for a test drive. It was definitely quite a rough grind from factory, as you can see by the serration marks on the blade. I haven't removed enough material to get rid of them, but it's sharp enough for what I need. So to summarise, I think it's a great unit. If you're on the market for a sharpening system, I can't fault it. It does what it's meant to, sharpens the chisels. I'm yet to use it on a plain blade, but I can't see it being any different to a chisel. It has everything you need in one kit: stones, honing leather, cleaning block, and the accessories to go along with it. and a nice carrying case. Who can I see using this? People who want a quick, efficient and effortless way to sharpen their tools. It hasn't reinvented the wheel, but it's a very smooth ride. I can see this being used heavily in my rotation. So on that note, I'll let you guys make up your own mind, and I'll leave a link in the description of this video. And I'll take this opportunity to ask that if you've enjoyed this video or gained something beneficial from it, please consider smashing that like button and even subscribing to my channel. Every little helps. Until the next video, guys, happy woodworking.